Anyway, the wind blew. The wind blew John Blanchard into here. He is our guest. Today's the last day of the passport vittles, and so we had this wonderful shrimp and salsa stuff on these big old triangular shaped cracker thingies. Chip cracker kind. It was like a melding.
Because it's kind of almost like a pita chip, but they fried it.
Nice. So it bubbled up. Anyway. Yeah. So thanks for joining us in here. Talk about Ye Olde College Inn, where, by the way, the website is collegeinn1933.com, and you can see all kinds of stuff. You can learn about the history of it. You can see the garden, because they are like, how many actual farm to table restaurants are there in the city?
You know, I don't think there's very many, but I know no other restaurant has a garden as big as ours.
Right next door.
Yeah, right next door, and it takes essentially the whole city block. You know, we own about 40% of the block, and the Archdiocese owns the other 60%, and they allow us to farm on it. So.
Yeah, well, they all come over there and eat for free, or at a discount, you know. I'll put a blessing on your tomatoes. Now make me a salad, you know, something like that.
It's been a great relationship with the seminary across the street. The college is in 1933. By the way, the last time the Washington baseball team was in the World Series was 1933, when the Ye Olde College Inn opened up. And I bought it in 2003 from the surviving son of the fellow that opened it, and so we've had it for the last 16 years, and
it's going strong.
Yeah, it's
well,
I
like the great memorabilia, especially, you know, you were a big baseball player, and you got all that great sports memorabilia in there. So it's like eating in a little museum or something.
You know, the College Inn was just always a place, a great meeting spot in the city, and it really, you know, because it was on Carrollton Avenue, on the way to Old Tulane Stadium, it became the spot to stop at when you were going to the Sugar Bowl and the early Saints games, and of course all the Tulane LSU games. The LSU Tiger was stolen from outside the Ye Olde College Inn in 1948.
The Tiger? I mean, the
actual Tiger, yeah.
Oh,
so I mean, it's got a history of dealing with all the athletes that came through the city, but also all the politicians used to stop there, and the theater people, all the bands. I understand in the 40s and 50s, if they played a sock hop, they went to the College Inn because they would cash their check. And they'd cash their check, and back then they'd have enough money to buy a hamburger and a Coke, you know.
Yeah, a big check.
A big
from the sock hop.
Check, man.
Yeah, really. Isn't that special? But you were a baseball player too, and I mean you kind of gave it up to take care of your family.
Well, you know, I gave it up, but I mean, it was time for me to give it up. At the age of 22, I realized I was not a big leaguer, and it was time to move on to other things. And I got married, you know, like 3 weeks after I played my last college baseball game, and just started a bunch of things. And you can see that on the documentary that your wife just completed and produced at
November the 8th at 8 o'clock on WLAE.
But you know, the College Inn, people ask about the menu. We still have the chicken fried steak po' boy.
Which, by the way, Drew Brees plugged. Some TV guys come up, caught him putting his luggage into his car. They go, "What's a great place to eat?" Ye Olde College Inn. Yeah. What's the name? They got a chicken fried steak po' boy. Who can beat that?
Yeah.
So you got the big plug from the big guy.
Before I owned the place, I'd been to College Inn many times in my life, and the only thing I ever ate when I went there was the chicken fried steak po' boy. You know, and now they call it chicken fried steak. If you buy it on the plate, it's called the breaded veal cutlet, but it's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. And you know, after Katrina, when we were trying to decide what to do and how to come back, we had kept records that year and a half that we were open from the time we bought until Katrina hit, and we took our 7 top selling items, and we kept that on the menu, and then we started adding on a whole new dining, dining options, experience, you know, to it. And opening in the evenings only. It used to be a big lunch spot, you know, prior to Katrina. But they really, my son and my son-in-law and my chef, they've done an excellent job, and it really is a great old New Orleans place.
Yeah.
And people are still coming.
Well, and-
Athletes,
yeah.
Trouperies.
Well, I was
keeps
telling you, I
coming
mean, I
in.
advise all these actors in town shooting this series I'm on that's the place to go. I mean, you can eat fancy or you can eat a burger. You can
Right.
listen to music, you could bowl, you could park. I mean, it's your one-stop shop, you know. And I mean, you want to go to the quarter and buy trinkets and such like that. But when it's time for the evening,
Yeah.
go out there, park safe,
One stop, dine and rock.
dine and rock and bowl.
Yes, indeed.
How many bowlers you get in there when the music's playing?
You know, when the music's playing, we normally fill up. We have 18 lanes, and we normally have parties taking all the lanes from 7 to 9:30. So you can make a 9:30 reservation. 9:30 is when the bands more or less start, or the bands are playing by that time. And so as soon as the party stop, you can jump on a lane. Yeah.
Get on top of it. Cool. How can people do that? Can you do it online? Or?
Yeah, you know, you can do it online, but you can call. We have Janice and Shay and Brooke in the office all day, and answering phones and booking the parties. Call 861-1700. And
That's easy enough.
Yeah, and ask for the reservations, and that'll handle the reservations at the restaurant and also for the lanes at the Rock and Bowl.
So that's one-stop shop on the calls too. You can get the fancy, or you can come get burgers and what's some of the? I mean, you got burgers and pizza. What else you serve at the bar?
Boudin balls, and we have salads and fried mozzarella sticks and
Things like that.
yeah.
Bar food, but good
Yeah.
bar food. John Blanchard, thanks for joining us today.
Thank y'all guys, appreciate it.
Back with more after this song.